Hi, welcome to the Tired Engineering Kids podcast. We are all very tired engineers.
That's right, you heard it first from Maddie. Chris here.
Yep, I'm Alex.
I am tired engineer Zahin.
I am Maddie, the tiredest engineer of them all.
The tiredest engineer.
All right, our problem statement is high schools need a program that provides STEM activities and content because many schools are not able to afford supplies for the topic, therefore not including technological education in the curriculum.
So, the UN has sustainable development goals that they want countries to try and follow in order to make the world like a generally better place. And a few of those that we personally wanted to focus on included the elimination of poverty, gender equality, and quality education.
Right. So the concept we are going with to kind of answer our problem statement is creating a STEM kit that would be distributed to high school. I don't know how I was going to explain it.
A kit that includes like everything that you would need to carry out a project on your own. That way it's more hands-on and you get to learn more at your own pace. Not only that, but it's more engaging than just like a lecture or like just a run-of-the-mill poster presentation in high school. So we're hoping that'll be more interesting, more engaging for students than just regular class note-taking and textbook stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
more practical instead of a theory-based kind of a approach.
Yeah.
Because, kids, they like to be a little more hands-on with their activities.
I think everybody does, yeah.
Yeah, because when it comes to like just assignments, booklets, just study guides, anything like that, it's kind of...
It's boring.
It's monotonous. It's just not very engaging. And with these STEM kits are pretty much approaches to make sure that these kids can actually like learn something, as well as like reading the booklets that we're going to be creating or that we created, and gearing towards physics, science, chemistry, and robotics and electronics, which is going to be very helpful for pretty much our objective for these STEM kits.
Trying to, answer the call of like the SDGs in our problem statement.
Right.
Yeah.
As well as personal experience, I think, as well.
Yeah.
That while we're all invested into this.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as like eliminating poverty, by the fact that we're like providing these for high schools, and it's usually like materials that you don't get for free through the schooling system. So
yeah,
as far as like STEM related products, quality education, we feel like these kits kind of inspire as well as improve understanding of different STEM subjects.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as gender equality, we did notice that there are much lower amount of women going into STEM subjects. So we feel like making it available for everyone, making the same kind of inspiration for everyone, the same exposure for every kind of group of students would kind of
So I actually got some research on that, and one of the reasons of many as to why women aren't as interested in STEM projects is because they weren't brought into it in the early ages.
Yeah.
And as far as boys, we're always kind of like very hands-on, and as far as when we were kids, playing with our toys and being a little more engaging outside in the dirt or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
We're building something with our hands.
And just like a quick side question, like did your parents, or more specifically like a father figure, ever be like, hey, let me teach you how to like fix the sink or change the tire or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even with, exactly, automotive repair, anything like that.
Yeah.
When it comes to hands-on, where it requires a little bit more strength or something to that effect. And I feel like the exposure for women, it wasn't there for them.
Yeah.
Like where they weren't really engaged, or they weren't really like, someone told them like, hey, come and help me with this. Like it wasn't really like, I don't know. I guess they're a little more independent in that regard.
right.
So
Like a young woman compared to a young man who have the same level of interest internally in like a STEM subject may not get the same exposure from the outside world. Like you said, like not as many may come up to the woman just trying to explain something rather than the man. So
I feel like the hope for these kids is that it'll be like a great equalizer in education. It's like, okay, maybe you come from a background where you didn't really get that exposure as a kid, but now you get to try like projects and stuff like that and see if you really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. And I think as far as in like a high school setting, I feel like it's not too late as far as to appeal to both genders, both men and women, even though women might not be as interested, but it can be a little more appealing because it's still in their early ages, still in their teens, and it's still they're still kind of like babies, where they're still expunged. They're
Yeah.
they're trying to extract all this information. They're still trying to be a little more engaging with these kinds of subjects. So
Yeah, they're very
Yeah.
impressionable still at that age.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I was a baby.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, in the
joking.
sense of a mindset, like kind of like they're still like grasping all this information. They're
Yeah.
still, yeah.
And even like just doing things on your own, even if you have your own interest in like STEM products, even like if I'm a guy, then a lot of times my group of friends might want to do the same kind of STEM or some kind of weird project that I might want to do.
Mhm.
And if a young woman might have the same interest, well, her friends didn't want to do that, so she just kind of ignored it. So what this kit kind of does is kind of brings everyone who's interested in that together. They don't have to kind of come in conflict with that, and
Yeah.
it just kind of meshes everyone together, inspires everyone.
But yeah, for the STEM kit, our main goal is to make it like team-based and then have like individual projects. So that way people can kind of get a mix of everything. And plus, in some cases, some projects don't really need a team. Like if you're looking at static electricity, like in the physics booklet, you can do that by yourself. You don't have to,
Yeah.
take a balloon and rub it on your friend's face or whatever. But, like using prisms or building a truss bridge, that's probably more of a group effort. So hopefully, like, people get, exposure to different types of, like, students and to make friends and stuff through those team-based projects.
Yeah.
Right. Also, access to different things you wouldn't get in other, because there is like a physics-based one, but even like in electrical-based projects for students interested in electrical, was it labs, projects, and stuff like that in the booklets? So that kit actually comes with breadboards, soldering kits. So that's stuff you would like never learn about in high school usually, unless you really try to pursue it. So this kind of, if you do have an interest in that, you usually kind of have to wait till college or even after that to really learn it. But if you have an interest, you could just dive right in high school and really see how much you do like it, or just get a head start in understanding.
Yeah.
How are we getting these STEM kits to students again? Are we checking it out at the library?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's up to the schools themselves,
Yeah.
because like for one school that might be smaller, maybe they have, I don't know, maybe they have the know-how in order to like check it out to different students. But in a school of like thousands, maybe it's like they're kept in the classroom so they're safe, or they don't get damaged too much and stuff like that. So I feel like it might just be up to for the school to decide.
Okay.
At least they have it as a resource.
Yeah. Okay.
So a common question might be, okay, like, cool, you have physics projects and experiments. It's like there's physics classes in high schools. So how might this be different or be better
What sets
than
it
like
apart?
a regular class?
Yeah. What
Yeah.
sets it apart, like as far as the actual
Right.
courses that people are taking, and then our STEM kits. I feel like for ours, we in regards to like a course, there's always quizzes, there's tests, there's assignments that we have to turn in. Whereas our projects, we have actual physical projects that we're actually be working on. We're including weights. We're including
Like the truss bridge,
Yeah.
exactly.
Prisms.
Arduino.
Hello,
Okay, what's your name?
Jedrick,
And Jedrick, what's your major?
robotics.
Awesome. So you're in engineering, you're in STEM. Do you think in high school you would have benefited from having like more projects and stuff to try out before you got to college?
Like more programs?
Not even necessarily programs, just like projects in general
more
in your
engineering projects?
classes.
Yeah, if they gave me more budget, because I know that my high school was broke as hell.
Yeah, exactly. So just in general, you think you would have benefited from like getting your hands on maybe like electrical parts and like seeing what it was all about?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't have an existential crisis like I did freshman year.
Oh, that's good. That's some good feedback from our.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, college, we get to learn it, and like, you should have already learned this. And I'm like, but my school was too broke.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was like my high school too.
And then like you had the classmates who were with me who were like, oh, I'm here to get another degree. Oh, I already did this before. And I'm like,
What do you mean you've already done this? This
There
is
was-
the first time I've
there
seen
was-
it ever.
There was a kid that transferred in from South Korea, came here. He was 24 and he worked for the Olympics. He was the one that did the drone stuff.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, why are you here? Why are you in Arizona? And he's like, it's cheaper here and I get a degree faster. He already made a router for the class. I was like, okay, cool. We never see you again. like, we want you to make something. Korean kid over there made a router. All right, automatic A.
Wow. Okay, so the early exposure would have been a huge benefit for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you think like if your school included like a little kit with like basic robotic tools that you would learn first, if you got like a little head start or even like test out your interest in it,
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
would that
like
be a lot helpful?
That
like
would
in high
have been
school?
better. That would have
Yeah.
been so much better.
Yeah.
It's like me when I talked to my dad about it. He's like, "Oh, I did this stuff when I was 13." I'm like, "But Dad, you were in the Philippines." He's like, "Oh yeah, no, I live by myself. I had to make my own bike."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Wow.
"Oh." He's like, "I could teach you," and I'm like, "I'm already here."
I'm already here.
it's too late for that, Dad.
Yeah.
We can't bond anymore.
Still could. And then like I was talking to him about like how people were like, "Oh, they made stereos in class," and he's like, "Oh, I made mine when I was 16. I'm like, "Dad, stop bringing up good stuff you did back then."
You're supposed to be putting a negative spin on it, not a positive.
Yeah. Back in my day, we made stereos as
Yeah.
teenagers.
I built my first TV at 10.
I feel like he actually did because he lived in an apartment all like when he was young.
Oh,
I
okay.
feel like he did that. I never asked him. He could have stolen TV. He could have made one. Who knows?
All right. Well, thank you, Jedrick.
Well, yeah,
Thank you,
that's
appreciate
fine.
it.
Thank you.
I love this podcast. Put them on YouTube.
Oh my gosh. So that was a good caller.
Yeah.
So as you heard, that was a current engineering student that had an interest for a long time and even says firsthand that would be really awesome and helpful if his high school did something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What was his name again?
Jedrick.
Jedrick.
So yeah, maybe this would be a good time to get into personal experiences.
Yeah.
So like, what kind of exposure to like physics or chemistry or engineering did you guys have in your high schools?
In my high school, and I started in 2004, graduated in 2008, I didn't even see physics. Saw lots of chemistry, if anything, but as far as physics, no, I didn't see anything. Maybe that, or it would completely blacked out of my memory. I don't know.
Yeah, I was,
But
I
I
was
don't
3
remember
when
you-
you started high school.
Yeah, I don't remember. Like it was just like too long ago, and quite frankly, I don't think I remember.
Where did you go to high school? Like the area?
Greenway High School in North Phoenix.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, North Phoenix. So it's kind of upper middle class, but it's still nice. And there was no damn physics class, so I'm kind of surprised that like everyone's sharing. Like, oh yeah, we did this in physics. Like, well, that must be nice.
Yeah, can relate.
But yeah, what about you guys?
So I came from middle lower income area. I went to high school in the West Valley in Avondale, and I think I forgot what the like lowest school is. I don't know. I forget if it's like tier 1 is supposed to be the lowest or tier 4, but we were like the lowest tier. Like half of the kids or more were on free and reduced lunch kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
You know, buildings like breaking down kind of stuff. But we had a physics class when I was in sophomore year, and usually you take it in junior year. And so I was planning to take it, and then our physics teacher left to go get her master's, which is awesome. But that also left us with no teacher and no physics. But all the while, all the other schools in our district had a physics class. And not only that, she would help teach at other schools. So now all of a sudden we're down a physics teacher, no one's helping us kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so I made a petition with some of my friends, and we went to the school board, and we're like, hey, this is a really basic class. We should have this, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so they brought it back senior year, but our teacher, no offense, wasn't very good. And there weren't really any projects, but we did have chemistry, and chemistry was a little bit better. Again, not very many projects, and absolutely no engineering. I mean, I think we had maybe a computer class, like maybe graphic design or something, but
Mhm.
yeah, when I came here, some people were like, yeah, you know, I had a 3D printer in high school, and I'm like, you had a what?
Oh.
Or they'd be like, oh yeah, I did this robotics competition in high school, and I'm like, you had that? And I felt so behind and like embarrassed and confused, because it's just like, I didn't know, like all these people had all this experience, and here I am like seeing all this stuff for the first time.
Mhm.
So I definitely would have benefited by having, you know, projects and like exposure.
in my high school experience, I went to high school in California. I'd say it would be like in a middle class area. So we did have all the science subjects as far as like your basic ones like biology, chemistry, physics, but we didn't have anything like kind of like an extra STEM program or anything like that. So what I noticed in the classes were we did have a club, kind of like an engineering type of club, but it wasn't really structured. It really wasn't giving anything extra. It was just more for like networking and like this type of stuff and volunteering here and just networking stuff to like get into college. You can get into a better college.
Oh.
And what I saw in the class, there were AP classes, but what I noticed in the AP classes were it was mainly motivated by people who wanted the college credit for the future, as well as it looking better on your grades, your transcripts, and stuff like that. As far as like spiking interest, the people already had interest that were taking AP and already had a sense of like knowing how good they were at it. But we didn't have AP for every subject. Physics, we didn't have AP, so all the students, good to bad, non-interested to super interested, were all in the same class. And in that dynamic, I feel like the standards always get lowered.
Yeah.
I feel like because
Like it's not expected. It's not
right,
expected.
It ends up most people in that regular class are not interested and just trying to get a good grade, whatever that takes.
Yeah.
That's the goal. The goal is to just like
study, read
graduate,
to get a
leave.
good grade. And compared to the people who are interested are just soaking everything in, getting the good grade that they're obviously getting, but not really getting anything extra that they're trying to like learn and soak in. So I feel like a separate kit or separate program that had extra projects, extra material to understand and stuff like that. That would be super helpful to that specific group of students that were trying to like soak in more, that knew they were gonna study that in the next stages. So looking back at my experience, I feel like that would have been a huge plus for maybe not everyone, because not everyone, for the people that were interested, it would improve the quality of their understanding, their interest, and spread from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Hunter.
Hello.
Can you say your name for the podcast, even though I just said it?
Hi, I'm Hunter.
All right. Hunter, what's your major?
Major in mechanical engineering.
Mechanical engineering.
Welcome to our podcast. We're
It's nice to be here.
the lazy engineers.
Tired engineers.
Lazy engineers.
I don't think there's a lazy engineer.
Sorry, we're the tired engineers.
Tired engineers.
Yeah, so basically our project is we're building STEM kits for high schools, so that you can get like exposure and stuff through projects. Do you think that you would have benefited in high school from like a project kit, maybe even learning at your own pace or in classes doing more projects?
Probably. My only experience with it was my high school physics class, which we kind of did something like that. Because for the second half of the semester, we had a lot of Arduino projects, where we learned how to do various. We did the Arduino projects that they give with the kit, so we messed around with those, and then we also built a cardboard car. Was the project?
Where did you go to high school? Like what area?
Millennium.
Yeah. Okay. I would say that Millennium was a higher, higher class. Yeah.
Originally, it was sort of like a rich people area.
Yeah.
Originally, at least, when it first became Millennium, but not anymore.
Yeah, okay.
That's interesting. Yeah. We talked to someone earlier who didn't get like those kits and stuff in high school and wishes they did. They feel like it would help a lot. So you actually got those, a form of a kit with Arduinos.
Sort of, yeah.
So do you feel like that helped a lot? That spiked your interest in any way, future-wise?
Definitely.
Okay.
It definitely was fun to mess around with in class.
Right.
But it was you had to leave the kits in the class, and then a lot of time of the class was spent just trying to get everything back into the kit, because I had to fit into it in a certain way, because to fit in the box, so.
Okay.
So if they allowed you to like kind of check something like that out of the library and
People
like
would steal it all the time.
yeah, people would steal it all the time. But if it was offered like as like you could go after school and play with it some more for an hour or two, would you have taken advantage of that?
Maybe.
Mhm.
I had to take the bus, so I typically didn't do that a whole lot. But I mean, yeah, I'm sure people would have.
Okay.
So it's a means of accessibility, like as
Right.
far as the
I mean,
interest
if it was
like,
accessible, if it wasn't a problem, that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, probably because for a time we had hour-long lunches
Okay.
for like 2 years, but they took it away. So definitely, if there was time, would have been interested in doing something like that during that time, because most of the time was spent just hanging out. So
Okay.
Do you think those kits and the projects like influenced your choice to do engineering and like higher education?
maybe, it probably,
Didn't hurt, right?
it definitely didn't hurt.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Well, thank you, Hunter.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
For sure, thank you.
Good luck with your podcast.
Cool.
Thanks.
you.
Nice.
All right,
So,
let's,
yeah.
continue with Alex as far as personal experiences.
My personal experience, at the time, I didn't realize it, but I was very privileged. The high school I went to, it's like a middle to upper middle class area. Very, very. There was lots of STEM options offered. There was a donor that donated a lot of money before I got there to the high school, like an alumni that donated a lot of money to kind of help with STEM based stuff. Since I left, the donor actually donated even more money. Now we have like not virtual reality, but like augmented reality. Like
Oh yeah.
we have like welding. Like it's I don't know how that's the way I would have spent the money, but you would put like the goggles on and you could weld, but not really weld.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that was not the best use of money. But anyways, when I was in high school, we offered, it's called Project Lead the Way. It was very common in the school district that I went to, but there were essentially 4 STEM courses. There was an intro to engineering where we did just like very introductory CAD stuff.
Mm.
We had like we pretty much took the class in a computer lab and we made like a wooden train and whatnot on CAD. And then there was an aerospace class where we learned about lifts, and we borrowed a small wind tunnel. It was like a portable wind tunnel.
Wow.
And we took a laser cutter and cut out like foam to make like little portions of wings and tested out lift and whatnot.
What?
That's so
This
cool.
is awesome.
I know. There was
This is the ultimate STEM
there
kit
was
right here.
there was a computer integrated manufacturing class, which was awesome. We built a high mileage vehicle from scratch. It was supposed to be a whole class thing, but me and 2 other students really stayed behind like every single day in class to get it finished because no one in the class really wanted to contribute. So we made it was we welded an entire frame together. We got a 1 motor, a 1 piston rather, lawnmower engine with a. We actually got an electronic starter to it because that what you had to do. You had to do an electronic starter. So we wired that to the lawnmower engine. That took a long time. And then, yeah, we took it to Wisconsin, which was a state over. I went to school in Chicago, Buffalo Grove High School. Shout out. And then, yeah, we took it over to Wisconsin and we drove it around a track. And then there was like a weigh station when you got there and that you weighed. Anyways, I'm kind of getting off topic, but that was a super fun class. And then there was one more, civil engineering. We just learned about civil stuff. That was fine. But yeah, I come from a school that put a lot of money into STEM stuff. And you definitely saw the benefits of it. And then
Wow.
physics, we had 2 physics classes. We had honors physics, which is your standard physics you take junior year, or supposed to take junior year. And then we had like a AP Physics C, like calculus-based physics.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's Physics 121, but ASU wouldn't give me the credit. Thanks, ASU. We should put a soundboard that's just thanks, ASU. that like puts in here. So yeah, they would not give me the AP credit that I earned for that class.
Wow.
So coming into Physics 121, I knew like 95% of the curriculum.
That's
So, yeah.
awesome.
So, yeah, I come from a very, looking back at it, it's a very privileged high school experience.
Yeah. Do you think that influenced like you wanting to do engineering?
Yeah, I mean, my uncle, he's an engineer. He's a professor at U of I right now for aerospace engineering, and he worked at Gulfstream, which is a private jet company. So he kind of influenced me a lot into engineering, because I feel like a big question that a lot of engineers have is like, what do engineers even do, you know?
Yeah.
And he kind of gave me an insight as to what he did, and I thought that was super interesting. I'm really into cars, so I kind of just put it into like cars.
Mhm.
So yeah, that, and then also I was given a platform to succeed there at my high school. So yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Awesome.
Some good exposure there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I guess we should have also said our majors.
I am an automotive systems engineering major.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. Chris, I'm a mechanical engineering major.
Electrical systems engineering.
Mechanical.
Mechanical. We got 2 mechanicals. All right, that's
Mechanical.
good.
Big whoop. But yeah, now that I think about it, my uncle's a civil engineer, but I like never talked to him about like engineering stuff like
Yeah.
ever.
No? Oh, okay.
I have civil engineers in my family too. Yeah, it's kind of, civil engineering is also kind of broad, even though it's kind of focused. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a lot of CAD stuff, soil testing, structural. They focus on structural engineering stuff.
And I think Alex brought up a good point, like saying people have a hard time understanding what engineers do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just hopefully these kids, and there's like I put like a little takeaway section after some of the projects. And I basically said, hey, did you like this project? If so, you might want to check out civil engineering, or you might want to check out physics or astrophysics, and look into that field a little bit more. Because I feel like that especially would have helped too. Like, oh, I really like this thing, but like, how do I do it?
Like, where do I go from here?
Yeah, like I changed what I thought I wanted to do in high school like 4 or 5 times before I really figured out, okay, I really like electrical stuff,
Right.
And actually, now that I think about it, I didn't really choose electrical until a Danish family member, my uncle, he gave me like an Arduino kit, and I was like in high school. So, and it's like I got it in Denmark when I was visiting them. He's like, yeah, I think you'd like this, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Electrical engineering chose you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Came up and punched me in the face.
I like how you brought that up though, because having interest and exposure is one thing, but a lot of people have that, but one thing you don't have is the guidance and just kind of like pointing in the direction, like civil engineering or this kind of engineering. So that's a really good thing to do. Yeah, just give them some guidance in addition to inspiring.
All right, can you say your name for the podcast?
My name's Alina Curtis.
And what's your major?
My major is psychology.
Awesome. So, what made you want to choose psychology?
I wanted to choose psychology kind of based off of a science fair project I did in middle school and high school. I was learning the different developments between how we react between positive gameplay and violent gameplay, and how that affected adults and children.
That's awesome.
Okay, interesting.
So, like, your high school and middle school experience, like, really shaped what you wanted to do in college?
Yes, I've been to a lot of schools that were a lot of science-based, and we did have a couple STEM programs, but they were very, like, limited into what you wanted to do, more geared towards, like, mathematical areas, and I was more science-y. I like the science stuff, but they also made it mandatory, so it kind of took out the fun of it, too.
Oh, for sure.
So, after a while, I like high school was freshman year was the last time I did science fair, and then after that I was like, nope, I'm done.
No more. Yeah, that's awesome. Can I ask, what area did you go to high school?
So I went to school down in Tucson.
Okay.
I went to high school freshman year in the TUSD district, which is low income, not the safest of schools that I went to. It was Santa Rita High School I went to. It's the safest, but I made it through. I'm still here. Hi. But I tried to do projects. We did like an aqueduct thing that I was a part of, and we put it around the school to help the filtration of the rainwater. But that was one of the very few like projects we were allowed to do.
Yeah.
So, but that was fun to be a part of. And then I went out into Vail, which had more equipment, I guess. I was more college based, and so then that was when I could actually dive into like the healthcare field, because they had pathways for such things.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Oh, cool. You think Dr. Karwat's gonna listen to these at like 1.5 speed, like 1.75 speed?
Probably. Probably.
Who's this Alina kid?
I'm gonna look up how many times I said STEM. Okay, said it 400 times. Okay, we're good.
So, like, for example, in the physics kit, I spent a lot of time on making a prism experiment where we have prisms coming in through Amazon. It's like, okay, take your flashlight and point it through the prism. Like, record what you see. Mm-hmm. Now, like, pick it up off the table and move it around. What do you see now? Now, use different types of prisms. Use the square one, use the circle one. What do you see, kind of thing. And, like trying to get people to play around with it and see for themselves what's going on. And then asking them questions like, why do you think this happens? Why is it important? Why would we ever want to care about this kind of thing? Mm-hmm. Or, like, there's the trust bridge one, too, where it's like, I didn't have time to write down all the steps, so I just put the link to the YouTube video that I found that does a really good job of showing how to build a trust bridge. And it's like, okay, build this bridge, test it out, put some weight on it. Do you live next to a trust bridge? Or, like, do you live next to a bridge? Like, do you think it's a trust bridge? Why or why not? Kind of thing. Why do you think this is important? Can you find any improvements? That kind of stuff. Like, really asking questions to get them to think about the thing that they just did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
projects are really simple.
Okay, can you say your name for the?
All right, my name is Tanner Burton.
And what's your major?
AMT,
Oh, air traffic management.
Air Transportation Management.
Never mind. I'm sorry. So we're dealing more with like STEM and project kits. Our main focus is we want to make like little kits with stuff in them to do your own projects. So for example, we have a kit for like physics where you can build like your own little popsicle bridge, and like electronics and robotics and chemistry. So what kind of made you want to choose AMT?
For me, I've always just had a passion for flight, and it's kind of taken me different ways. When I first kind of thought about it, I wanted to be like a bird scientist. And it kind of evolved into like an engineer, and I didn't really want to be an engineer. Then I went to pilot, and I didn't really want to be a pilot. So I kind of settled on air transportation management because that's kind of like I'm able to see the business side of it, but I'm also able to work in the industry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like what made you kind of want to choose that? Like did you get any exposure throughout your life or in high school that you were like, yeah, I really want to do this?
I think one class I took in high school really kind of set me on this path. It was called an aviation careers, and I had to drive to a different school to take it, and it really just showed me like, wow, this is what I want to do. It was just the basics of flying. It's almost like a ground school class, but it really told me like why I want to be in this industry.
Mm-hmm. And do you think did that class have any like projects?
Yeah, there was a couple. We had to like build a model plane for one out of just like trash or whatever.
Oh, nice.
So I made a Concorde out of paper.
Awesome.
Okay, nice.
And then there were a couple others, just kind of just like presentations and stuff.
Right.
No.
So it was offered through your high school? Like,
Yes.
And it wasn't required, right? Like it was like an
It was an
elective?
elective, yeah.
Elective? Cool,
Okay.
cool.
Where did you go to high school?
I went to Laguna Beach High School in California,
Oh, nice, nice.
Okay.
but I had to drive like 30 minutes to get to this other high school, which was like all the way across the county,
Ouch.
but it was worth it.
So yeah, it does. So look, like basically, what our thing is students that are interested in like STEM subjects, different technical subjects, they go to certain schools that don't offer anything extra, like the aviation program your school offered and stuff like that. And I feel like that would be like super helpful. So looking back at it, obviously you feel like that was super helpful and kind of helped you today. Obviously,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
for sure. Nice, nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
of
pretty
course.
much it.
Appreciate
Okay,
it, man.
perfect.
Sure, thank you.
See you later.
Thanks.
Yep.
It's really fun getting people who aren't in engineering like to talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you still find out stuff about their high school experience and how like
Because STEM is
that
still
shaped.
kind of like tied into it.
Yeah.
For instance, her like she liked science, and it
Yeah,
kind of tied her into that.
Alina is like who was in psychology. Psychology I feel like is discounted as like a social science or whatever, but it's
Yeah.
I would say it's a science. So
No, of course. Yeah. Okay.
having STEM things going on, even if it's not like engineering related, is still very important to people.
Yeah.
Is that it?
I think
Hey,
that's
for-
it.
I think that's
I
it.
don't think we're missing
I
anything.
think we're good.
Hi,
Yeah,
Dr.
CP.
Karwat. Please give us an A.
Please give us an
Yes, please.
I don't think
Thank
you'll hear
you.
that part, but-
Yeah, by now he's definitely moved on to the next project.
this part is 2 times speed.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to the Tired Engineers podcast.
And now a word from our sponsors
Starbucks.
for keeping us all alive.
Thank you, engineers. Stay tired.